Hello everybody, this is Yankel. You may know me as Hope of Trade. Welcome, welcome. Today we'll be doing a rules video where we basically go over some of the special rules that I created in our homebrew Conquest of Souls campaign. So these are specifically the combat rules, and so there's a couple of things that you probably should take note of. So starting off, the first bullet says, past rank 3, your character must be at least double the level of the rank. This is basically a gate, and the gate was made so that characters don't become too powerful too quickly. So basically, if you're level 8, the maximum you can have points into one specific category is 4, because that's half of your level. A character rank at level 10 can have a rank 5, and so on and so forth. But it's basically a gate so that characters, not only do they not just dump all their points into one specific thing, which I mean would be cool, but then it gets very overpowered in very specific situations, and I don't really want that. And I also want the characters in my campaign to take a broader approach to the game. Like, yeah, maybe you're very good with the sword, but that's not all you do. There's other things that you can be doing that I kind of want my characters to explore. So there's that gate. Attack rolls and hit rolls are basically the same thing. I mean, you're going to hear those words often: make an attack roll, make a hit roll. Basically just to see if the attack is going to hit. And that's in contrast to damage rolls. Damage rolls will always be specified as damage rolls because you're rolling to see how much damage you do. So hit rolls, attack rolls, damage rolls. Basically just trying to get that phonetically out there, just to get that those words out there. Okay, so we changed how critical hits work. If you watched role play since the beginning, you'll see something very similar here. Basically, if you pass the check by at least 5 points, you get what's called a crit, and it allows you to roll an extra die for the attack. And what we did was we changed how normal weapons deal damage. So you'll see exactly how it happens. And so for each interval that you pass of 5, so each interval of 5 that you pass the check by, you get to roll an extra die. So if you pass the check by 15, you get to roll 3 extra die. And once again, it's not going to be too crazy, and you'll see why. Natural 20s are, they're going to not only are going to follow the crit system. So I mean, if you roll a natural 20, you're going to be rolling usually pretty high above the check anyways. But they do have secondary effects. You'll have bleeding, falling down, being crippled, getting limbs cut off. So natural 20s are going to have a cool secondary effect besides just being a crit, since people are going to be critting without rolling natural 20s. So basically what we did with the weapons is we've broken down the weapons, their die, into smaller die. So whereas a certain weapon might normally roll a d10, what we did was we cut it down to 2d5. And so basically we're rolling anything between d3 and d5. So that pretty much covers all of our numbers except for 7, which there's no d7 that you ever roll. And I guess 11, but once again, you never ever really have to roll a d11. So basically what happens is, if you have a die that is larger than 5, you're going to divide it into smaller subset of die. So if you normally would roll a d6 for a longsword attack, you're going to be rolling 2d3, which amount to the same, but what it does is makes it very consistent. Like, your damage is always going to be between 2 and 6 instead of 1 and 6, and it if you land an attack, you should do at least some damage. And you roll a great attack, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do damage, and then you roll a 1, and it really sucks. It really takes a lot out of the game. So this kind of smooths out the damage. And this works into our crit system. So when you crit, you're not going to be rolling, if you double crit with a claymore, you're not going to be rolling 3d12 for a maximum of 36 damage. That'd be really crazy. What you're doing is that d12 is going to be broken down into 3d4, and every time that you crit, you're going to add 1d4 to it. Now, d12 is kind of iffy because it could be broken down into 4d3 or 3d4, but that'll be resolved later in the game. It doesn't really matter. Oh, and actually, that's what I wrote as an example, but I said that it was doing d10. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. You're just breaking it down, these larger die rolls into smaller die rolls, and then when you crit, you add the smaller die, not the larger die. Okay, so then one of the things we found out really quickly was, since magic is so you can be very creative with magic, so since it's so like open-ended, melee weapons kind of started to feel stale, like they were kind of falling behind. So we did two things. First, we made the checks for magic to happen just generally a little bit harder. So if an opponent's armor class is 10, we'll say, the check to hit that person with magic is actually going to be 12, just to make it a little bit more difficult for magic to land, but just because it is very powerful and it is very cool, and it has a lot of secondary effects, and its range and all these things really come together, and it's like, wow, why would I ever pick melee weapons over magic? Well, here's an incentive. So what we did was we added secondary effects to each type of weapon class. So in our campaign we have precision weapons, medium weapons, and heavy weapons. So precision weapons are like your daggers and your sai and your Gucci Kama, I think that's what it's called. But basically your small weapons are any weapons that really will rely on hitting specific areas instead of just swinging the sword. So at rank 1, your precision weapons, and really all rank 1 weapons, you're able to just riposte. And I kind of went into this with the defenses window. Actually, I went pretty in depth in the defenses video, but basically when you riposte, depending on what weapon you're using, you can riposte a certain range of other weapons. So if you're using precision weapons, you can riposte medium weapons and other precision weapons, but not large, heavy weapons. Just because it'd be really awkward to try to block a claymore or a hammer with your dagger. Like, that really wouldn't happen, and that's not going to happen. So you can't actually riposte small weapons with big weapons, and likewise you can't riposte big weapons with small weapons. So if you're wielding a heavy weapon, you're not going to be able to riposte a dagger attack. But yeah, I mean, whatever. The rank 1 is kind of stale, but it is very necessary. If you have at least 1 point into a specific weapon, you can riposte with it. So precision weapons at rank 3. You actually get a double bonus per point to hit. So what's this going to do? It's going to make precision weapons not only hit more often, but they're going to be critting more often. So, these weapons that normally do very small amounts of damage are going to quickly start doing more damage and being able to keep up, just because they're consistent and they are, easy to crit and easy to hit. So, and that's kind of the whole point of using these weapons, right? If you're using a dagger, you're trying to go for those vital points, and this kind of this doubling the bonus really accentuates that whole style. So rank 5, you're going to be able to take opportunity attacks when nearby opponents critically fail. If they roll a 1, you can just take the opportunity attack, even if they say, even if it's not a huge fail, like even if it's like, say, a dragon, you get that opportunity attack. So that's pretty cool. At rank 7, you remove the penalty and add a +1 bonus to calling specific targets. So if you specifically say, hey, I'm going to try to attack this guy and hit him in the eye, you actually get a +1 bonus on top of whatever. So really focusing on that attacking key points style. And then at rank 9, you can just attack twice per turn, which, that's pretty standard stuff. But that's pretty far into the game, so attacking twice per turn, especially when the damage is being smoothed out, is going to be pretty cool. And it's going to be pretty effective, so that's why I made it the final rank for pretty much all of these, actually. Rank 9, you may attack twice per turn, or whatever. Okay, so medium weapons, we're talking about our regular long swords, axes, hammers, things that they're kind of, obviously they're medium, so they're in the middle, but they have qualities of both precision weapons and heavy weapons. So, oftentimes it is better to be precise and hit a specific location, but even if you don't, you're still going to do damage. So they're, very in-between weapons. Anyways, rank 1 obviously is you're able to riposte. Rank 3, so once you put 3 points into medium weapon, a specific medium weapon, you get a bonus to riposte equal to your weapon's skill. At rank 2, your riposte ability has a +2 to the roll. So normally when you riposte, it's based off your strength modifier. And that's it. But once you get to rank 3 in medium weapons, you actually not only get your strength bonus, but you also get your weapon proficiency bonus. So that makes it so that you can riposte a lot. Like, it's going to be really difficult for somebody to hit you when you're trying to riposte. And now keep in mind, you can't always riposte. Like, if somebody's attacking from behind, you can't just try to do that. Like, riposte is situational. So, but it is pretty powerful. And what we wanted to do specifically with medium weapons was make it so that they're kind of tank specific. Like, medium weapons are the weapons that you use oftentimes with a shield, so not only do they work very well defensively, they're gonna be, well, basically they just work really well defensively, I guess. I mean, you're making your riposte super powerful. And so rank 5, if you land a killing blow on an opponent, it allows you to continue and attack another within the same turn. So once again, this is kind of an in-between of the two, precision and heavy weapons. So something like landing the killing blow, it's cool. It gives you adrenaline, and it's reminiscent of somebody with a heavy weapon that's just cleaving through everything. So you do get that aspect of it. Rank 7, you can lunge at an opponent within 3 squares. This moves you up to the target and does not provoke opportunity attacks. So anybody within 3 squares, you can do a practiced lunge. You take a step forward, move your body forward, extend your arm fully, and this is a lunge. Obviously, it's made with a sword in mind, but you can still do it with a hammer or an axe, and you basically just move forward really fast, and anybody within 3 squares, you can just attack them. Don't have to worry about everybody around you. It's just kind of like a very practiced, well executed move that you learn at rank 7, and at rank 9 you can attack twice per turn. So you get some cool things from precision weapons, some cool things from heavy weapons. You combine them, and that's really what you have for medium weapons. It's also very focused on tanking damage. So that's what we did for medium weapons. Then we go to heavy weapons. At rank 1, you're able to riposte attacks for medium and heavy weapons, obviously. At rank 3, with a heavy weapon, your attacks hit with such force that your bonus to damage rolls are double. So, normally when you roll a damage roll, you roll whatever you roll, and then you add your rank, your however many points you have in that ability. But with heavy weapons, if you manage to land the roll, it's gonna do extra damage. It's if you're rank 4, and you obviously you have this because you've passed rank 3. Instead of adding +4 damage to your roll, you're going to be adding +8. So heavy weapons really, we want to really stress the damage, the overall just like boom, the capability of this immense huge weapon to just crush and deal massive damage. So rank 5, this one I have no shame saying that we got this. I got this from When I read the D&D Next packet, that was such a cool mechanic. I really liked it, and I felt it really makes a lot of sense with these heavy weapons. So basically, when you miss an attack, you're swinging these huge mace, whatever weapon, and even if you manage to miss, like, it's still so big, like, it's gonna do something. You know, if you're swinging this humongous claymore around, and it's, you know, 6-7 feet tall, well, even if they block it, you know, even if they throw up their shield and, well, I guess not shield, but even if you know, it hits the armor, it's hitting with so much force, it's gonna do some damage. So basically, it does damage equal to your skill in heavy weapons. So, you know, at rank 10, even if you miss, you're still gonna be doing 10 damage. So that's pretty crazy. Then we have rank 7. At the beginning of combat, successful attacks give your following attacks a stacking +2 bonus. So, what does this mean? This means every time you successfully attack in a single fight, you gain a bonus to the next attacks, as far as hit anyways. A bonus to hit for the next attacks of +2. So if I hit you, you know, then the next time I roll against that opponent, or really any opponent in that fight, I get a +2 modifier, and that stacks. So if I hit the next guy, and it doesn't have to be in a row, you can hit, miss, hit, you'll still incur that, you'll still have that +2 bonus. But basically it's almost like a bloodthirst ability, where after you hit one guy, you just want to hit the next guy more and the next guy more, and you just want to keep going and going and going, and it's almost like a berserker kind of thing going on here. And nobody's actually gotten heavy weapons, nobody's tested, we haven't really tested this out, and I can see that becoming really overpowered in large scale fights. I may have to cap it, maybe at whatever rank you're at, probably, but yeah, that's pretty cool. So, and all of these, remember, you have to remember all these things, you know, go together. So, yeah, so it's pretty cool stuff. Rolling a natural 19 or 20 at rank 9. If you roll a natural 19 or 20 against an opponent who's not using heavy weapons, or I guess in this case heavy armor, will actually cause you to crush their inferior weaponry or armor depending on how they defended themselves. So imagine, you know, you're going against this big beefy tank, and you swing your weapon, you roll a natural 19 or a natural 20, he goes to put up his shield, and you just break his shield and shatters into pieces, you know, possibly doing damage to him in the process, even though he blocked it, even though whatever, you know, or you will say it hits him in the chest and his armor just shatters, and you know, there's blood everywhere. I mean, this is going to be really cool. So I'm really excited for heavy weapons. Unfortunately, nobody seems to have picked it up in this campaign, so whatever, we'll see how it works. But yeah, so that's basically all the things that we've done for weapons. Remember, we did this because we want weapons to still feel cool when you're using them, to still feel like, man, we're doing some crazy stuff here. So yeah, and let's see, I guess it's kind of like a TLDR. Too long, didn't read, didn't listen. Passing a check by 5 is a crit. You roll an extra die, and then all the dies have been cut into smaller pieces. So you know, your D5, your D10 is going to roll 2D5. Your D9 is going to roll 3D3. Your D6 is going to roll 2D3. Your D8 is going to roll 2D4. If you have to roll D16, it'll probably be, you know, 4D4. I guess it'd be 2D8, but we're keeping it between D3 and D5. So it'll be 4D4. And when you crit, you add the smaller die, not the larger die. So normally, you know, a large sword does D10, and you crit, you don't add another D10. That original D10 has been broken up into 2D5, and you just add another D5. So it'll be 3D5. So yeah, it's a lot of D this, D that, but you know, you guys will see once you watch the video and watch the videos and play with it a little bit. You'll see it makes sense. So Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe, like, leave a comment. If you think something's way too overpowered, or maybe something feels lackluster, go ahead and leave a comment, and I'll definitely address it. So, thanks for watching. You can follow me at Twitter at Hope of Trade. That I will be posting whenever we're doing live streaming or whenever I make a new video. So check that out. Always, you can follow me on YouTube. So there it is. Bye.